None of us really know. None of us really know.
I know.
No, I know. Perfect timing, Keith.
Keith, what's up?
Your favorite movie of all time, F9.
Oh, good.
How is there any other choice than Remember the Titans being number one?
I'm curious.
I'm spoiling mine, but
Well, let's see. Here we go. Yeah, that's a good, good
I'm
question,
not even
Brian.
done talking.
you shouldn't be talking at this point.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Apocaflix Movies and Apocaflix Now, the movie hangout show here on Apocaflix Movies, as we are live once a week on Tuesday evenings at 7 o'clock Pacific. It is the three-man show tonight, the OG, I wanted to say OG Avengers, but the OG Apocaflixers.
There we go.
Apocaflixers. Gio, myself, and Jacob are here to talk a lot of TV, some very, very cool TV as far as comic books go. And we're going to be getting into Moon Knight. We're going to be getting into Peacemaker, as well as what 2022 has in store for MCU Disney+. So shout out to all of you who are watching and all of you who will be joining us very, very soon, maybe even back on the replay as well. That is what we have in store for you all tonight. But before we get to that, let's go ahead and see how the fellas are doing since we didn't have a show last week. Jacob, Gio, the resident Niner fans, you SOBs.
Oh,
How you guys doing?
I saw Star Drew's comment. I just had to wear this hat. Yes, I wasn't going to say anything. I was just going to subtly wear a Niners hat just for a shout out, but doing good. You know, I was sick last week, but as I was telling you, Jake, like recovering from being sick kind of feels like a new life. It's like, all right, I'm ready to go. Like, I'm just so grateful to be healthy. That's all I'm saying.
That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, first off, those of you who keep doubting the 49ers, keep that energy. We need it. Real quick, I love how the LA Rams tried to limit tickets to just LA County. I don't think they realize how many Niner fans are in LA County, but whatever. I'm doing good, just trying to maneuver my way through Omicron. It's crazy, man. It's from what I read, what I hear, and those I know who catch it, it's not as deadly, but it's still just a trip seeing people I know get it, so be safe out there. Wash your hands.
Yes.
How's everything else going besides the Niners stuff? Because, that's not all that matters in the world. So.
It's not?
No, it's not.
I mean, other than that, it's been okay. I try to stay off of film Twitter, but it's every time I go on there, it's like a fight, like a knife fight, a bar fight, between people.
Well, you make it a fight. You make it a fight.
Not me. No, I'm pretty laid back compared to others. But man, dude, it's just I don't know. It's just it's crazy right now between trying to find a place for myself and stay healthy and whatnot. And it feels like there's no movies coming out in January, or that came out in January. Like
just
Scream. I was just gonna ask you, has either of you seen Scream?
I was gonna go see it. Like I didn't buy tickets yet, but I was planning to go see it, and then I got sick. And I was gonna try go watch it with Keith actually when he was back in town, and so I haven't got a chance to see it yet.
How is Scream?
Oh,
did you see it?
Effing awesome!
I've heard really good things.
It is. So it's in my opinion, it's the best sequel. It's right behind the original for me.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. So the best other than the first. Yeah.
My ranking goes 1, 5, 2, 4, 3. And
Nice.
4 and 2 kind of flip and flop depending on how I watch them. 5, it's awesome.
I've heard
it's very much like this isn't like the greatest comparison, but you know how Mandalorian was so good just because Jon Favreau's like a fan, like he's just a fan. You could tell that these
it's the guys who did Ready or Not.
They are fans of Scream. They are 100% fans of Scream.
And after watching Ready or Not, I could totally see like those sensibilities transferring over to Scream so well. Like, that's
And
I
some
actually
really,
can't wait
really
to watch it.
Really well done, brand new characters. I actually think for those of you who watch it, Sarah, the character Sarah is my favorite addition since the original. I think she is a brilliant character.
Nice.
Go
I've
watch
seen
it. Like
this movie.
it's if you've seen the Scream movies, go watch it. It's fun. It's a great turn
Yeah.
on the franchise. So
I'm actually really excited to see it. I am.
cool.
You know, Jake, real quick, you touched on like they seem to really love this franchise, those who took over. And I just thought about like, even though I haven't seen Ghostbusters Afterlife yet, like obviously the
Jason Reitman,
director-
man, same thing.
Yeah. And
Afterlife
I
is
mean,
good.
Yeah. And then I think about Bad Boys for Life and Adi and Bilal and how they were huge fans of Bad Boys. And look how that movie
Are they doing
turned out.
They're doing Batgirl, right?
They're doing Batgirl. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
stoked
Oh,
for
yeah.
that.
That's
By the way, that
awesome.
first look image, her suit,
Badass.
They
I
need to
love
make it a
Fire.
theatrical release, though.
fire. I hope they
They
do because
will.
they turned Blue
They
Beetle
will.
into a theatrical release. So
They
Come
will.
on, Discovery.
I hope.
Let's go.
I hope.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
well,
real
like
quick,
I said,
I wanted to
go
bring up
ahead.
something because the one silver lining in being sick is you can catch up on stuff you've been wanting to watch. Like, because what else are you supposed to do? You got to sit in bed.
Was
and
one
do
of those
nothing.
Peacemaker?
No, I started watching Peacemaker right away, but that would have been a good, segue later. But no, look, I watched the show Euphoria. I binged the whole series so far, and look, it's a weird show. Like, it's a crazy show. If anybody has seen it, but it might be hard to watch for some people, but it is actually really good. And Zendaya is amazing in it.
She's great. You wouldn't expect her to be in that type of show.
Mm-mm.
It's funny. Gab and I watched it, and I never watched the last episode of last season.
Oh,
I just
really?
stopped. Like I lost
Yeah.
track of it, and I'm still at that point. I have never gone back and watched it. Now the second season is here. So
Yeah, no, it's interesting. There's like a ton of characters in that show. I don't even really care about the Zendaya character and what's going on with her and her friends. It's more about like the drug dealer and what's
Mhm.
going on with him and all that stuff is really cool. So check it out if it's for you from the trailers. So it's pretty good.
Would you say it's along the lines of movies like Requiem for a Dream and Trance, starring James
Well,
McAvoy?
I
Like,
haven't
you know
seen
how it's
either
all
of those,
trippy?
so but it is kind of like that. But
okay.
at the same time, the show kind of, in a way, it kind of makes doing drugs, like they try to make doing drugs like look fun. So I mean,
Gio, to an
which they
extent, to
can
your
be.
question, to an extent, yes.
It's not fun, guys.
It's
exactly.
It's to an extent, it definitely is kind of in comparison to those movies, but it definitely, like, there's specific editing styles and the way that the camera works, and the acting is really, really
The
good.
lighting.
Off the charts. Yeah, it's very trippy. It's kind of like the best way that I can explain it is that it's just very trippy. So.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna have to take
That's
a
something I
sativa and
watched.
watch it.
All right. Well, before we get to any TV discussion here, we always start the show with one single thing, and that is the movie watching challenge. The movie watch challenge is going to be a little different today and a little bit different going forward. It's still going to be the beginning part of the show, excuse me. And as you may have noticed last couple weeks, we weren't able to get to Gio's review of V for Vendetta, but he was able to shoot a single video of himself reviewing the movie on the channel. So that video is up there. And we decided, you know what, why not put a little bit more content on the channel? So going forward, all reviews for movies for the Movie Watching Challenge will be videos of that person, or maybe even a couple, reviewing directly for the channel. They won't be on now. What will be on now is a little discussion about the movie that person is going to be challenged to. So Gio, that part now goes to you. You did challenge someone at the end of that video, but maybe the viewers didn't see that video. Who did you challenge, and what did you challenge them to?
Well, to find out, you're gonna have to watch the. No, I'm just kidding. So at the end of the video, I figured, you know what, the 49ers are hot in the playoffs right now. This would be a good opportunity, and maybe the only opportunity for the foreseeable future until football season starts back up. I challenged Jacob to the second greatest football movie of all time, in my opinion, and maybe Jacob will agree after he sees it. It's a movie called The Program, it focuses on the college football program and all the pressure that comes with playing for your school and endorsements and all that kind of stuff that comes with the college scene. And I think it's a really interesting study, much like Oliver Stone and Any Given Sunday, about the psyche, except these aren't professional players. These are college players who are right on the cusp of making it. And in my opinion, it's some of the hardest hitting football scenes you'll see in any movie. I can't wait for you to watch it, Jacob, especially because you do a fantasy football channel. I think you'll have a different perspective on how tough and brutal the physicality of football is. So I'm excited for you to watch it.
Yeah, no, it was interesting
Curtis!
because when you told me about it, I was like, what movie? The program. And I looked into it, I was like, oh,
James Caan,
okay.
right? James Caan.
James Caan, yeah. And
First I
some
thought
of
you
the
said
cast
James Gunn. I
members
was like,
you'll
what? No.
recognize, like Omar Epps. And it's crazy, man. I can't wait for you to watch it, dude. You're gonna want to go to the gym after you see it.
I'm sure. No, it looks interesting, and I am excited to watch it. Gio, when we did our favorite sports movie, was this on your list?
I think it was. There's
Yeah,
no way it
because
couldn't have been on my list.
We know our infamous part of our intro is Brian shitting on me about Remember the Titans not being my number one sports movie. So I'm guessing it was mentioned on your list when we did that.
Yeah.
Wait, so you say it's the second best sports movie or football movie? Is the number one Remember the Titans for you?
It's Remember the Titans.
Okay. I thought it was Any Given Sunday, possibly, but
Any Given Sunday,
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm definitely excited.
Side note, this isn't about the program, but I just watched Any Given Sunday for the first time a month ago.
Ooh, what'd you think?
It was awesome.
Yeah.
I've
awesome.
been on this binge of watching like old movies I've never seen, and it was on HBO Max. I'm like, oh, like why not get this to watch? And I had no idea what it was about. Like I knew it was about football, obviously. Like duh. I knew Jamie Foxx was in it. I knew Al Pacino was in it. Like clearly, I didn't know that there were that many people in it and that many cameos from different like real life football players.
Jim Brown, Lawrence Taylor. You got Dennis
I mean
Quaid.
T.O. showed up at one point randomly.
You got
it was
yeah.
It was good. It was good. So I'm fine. I'm excited. I finally watched it. So.
A young Cameron Diaz. That's all I'll say.
You're right. All right, let's go and move on. We're gonna get into some TV, everybody. Look, we're a movie channel, but doesn't mean we watch any television. No, we like to watch everything here, and especially when it comes to comic book stuff. So before we get to Peacemaker, we're gonna start with Moon Knight. Moon Knight dropped his first official teaser trailer last week. There is a reaction up on the channel from Brian and myself. So Gio and Jacob haven't been able to talk about it publicly yet on the show because we didn't have a show last week. It was like a minute and a half or so, but we get really a good look at what this show is going to be all about. The different style and look and vibe to it compared to what Marvel has brought to it in the past. Oscar Isaac, Ethan Hawke leading this show. Gentlemen, what did you think of the first look at Moon Knight? Jacob?
For somebody who doesn't know much about Moon Knight, other than what Brian tells me, it looks very intriguing. It really does. I'm a huge fan of Oscar Isaacs. Like he's amazing. He's incredible. My favorite role of his is Ex Machina. Like he's crazy good in that. And
you know how much I love that.
I know Jake loves that movie too. But he's been in a ton of stuff. He's a superstar. A-list actor, Gio. Come at me if you don't believe so. But
X-Men Apocalypse was so.
But no, I'll just say that I don't care that the white suit doesn't make sense. The white suit looks absolutely incredible.
Why doesn't it make sense? Wait, who's saying that?
No, a lot of people say, why would a superhero that primarily comes out at night wear a white suit? Like, and I know the thing is he wants the people to see him coming. Like he wants.
Well, that in
it's not the best
history of Egypt, they wore white robing, dude.
No,
like, come on.
No, that makes sense too. But I'm saying a lot of people say like, oh, it's dumb for a superhero to wear all white. Like, because first of all, it's gonna get dirty. Second of all, it's gonna like. If it's at night, they can see you easily. But regardless of that, I don't even care. It looks incredible. Like, imagine getting like your own full Moon Knight suit. That would be so cool. Like it looks.
I'm sure Brian's gonna buy one.
Yeah, I'm a little like I know the character has different personas that he takes on. I'm curious about
Personality.
that. That can be done very well or be done very poorly. So I'm curious how that's going to go. But overall, it looks great. Ethan Hawke, love me some Ethan Hawke. So I'm excited.
So, real quick, Gio, before we get to your thoughts, Brian did comment because he is watching before
That's
he
where I
heads
was
to
going to start.
his
Yeah.
sports game. And excuse the language, everybody, as I put this on screen. But in the comics, Moon Knight literally says, I want my enemies to see me. I'm not a blank like Batman.
Does he like Batman?
So, why not? Why not? I mean, hey,
Yeah, and
who
Brian
cares if it's white? Like,
Brian has said that. No, I have no problem for it, but I'm just saying what other people say. But Brian has said that before too. Yeah.
What's with all these shots at Batman? I mean, I go back to the
It's
first.
because he's the best, Gio. That's why.
I get, but the first teaser for Titans was I think it was
Batman.
F
Dick Grayson
Batman.
saying F
Yeah.
Batman, and then
But,
we're about
hey,
to talk about
that line worked really well.
It did.
Really
Yeah.
well.
It did, yeah. Once I saw it in context, and then we'll talk about Peacemaker and what he says about Batman, and now what Brian said.
Well, it's what Jake says. It's everybody takes a shot. Batman's the best, the best
He's
superhero
the
of all
best,
time.
yes.
Like he's the guy. And
the
I mean,
guy.
some people say Superman, but to
yeah,
me, it's Batman. And
I'm not.
So
I'm,
it's
go
like
ahead.
remember when the Warriors were running the NBA? Everybody's
They're
taking a
still
shot at the
running the NBA.
Warriors. It's
Well,
the
no,
same
I mean,
thing.
I take shot of the Warriors no matter what. Like,
Yeah, for sure. But everybody takes. You got to take a shot at the best.
same
So
thing.
that's
Why I take a shot at the Lakers because they're the Lakers. Like, who cares?
I'm not as
Good point,
triggered
good
as I'm
point.
coming off. I'm just. It's an observation.
And the Niners. Like, I want to do it because they're the Niners.
It's an
no, but I think
observation.
it's a sign of respect, Gio. Honestly.
Yeah, no, totally. That's it's how it is. But Moon Knight. Well, let me start by saying, look, myself and I feel like a lot of people who are gonna watch this aren't that familiar with Moon Knight, but that's okay. When Iron Man first came on the big screen, it was, you guys would say he was a B tier character in the comics.
Yeah, because Marvel sold their A tier, their X-Men and Spider-Man.
Yeah, they're A tier. So Moon Knight would be in the C tier, you would say, right?
I mean, he definitely has his niche audience, but he's probably below the Captain Americas, the Iron Mans, the Black Panthers of the world.
He's at, I would say, at most, at highest a C tier.
Yeah, C tier. But you know what? That doesn't matter because Marvel has gotten you to become invested into their brand. They know that when they introduce a new character, the character is going to be badass. It's going to be a character with multiple levels layered, and a character that you'll grow to love very quickly. I mean, we saw that in the previous Disney Plus shows. The way I see Moon Knight, because I just rewatched the trailer within the last hour. If Marvel were to do anything similar to DC's 2019 Joker, this is what it is. I mean, Oscar Isaac looks like he's going to another level with his performance. Like Jacob said, tapping into different personas. It looks like it's going to touch on that mental psyche stuff. And I mean, you throw in some Kid Cudi in there. So
that was trippy when I heard Day and Night. Like, I was like, oh, they're going here right now.
Yeah, perfect. Because, you know, anybody who listens to Kid Cudi, it just, you know what his music is all about. I'm Jacob, like you said, I'm intrigued. I know very little about the character, but that's not going to stop me from watching this, learning, and ultimately becoming a big fan of the character. At the end of this show, Moon Knight will be a household name like previous Marvel characters because that's what they do.
I was just going to say, and Gordon and Andy both said it in the chat, look what they did with Shang-Chi and Guardians.
Mm-hmm.
They made people love a talking tree and a talking raccoon, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's clearly, like, at this point, and I know that we say this a lot, but Marvel could literally throw any character at us, and if they put an actor in the role and they put a project around it, more than likely, we are going to love the character. Like, they have taken these very obscure, different, wacky characters and turned it into something that we really want to see. The characters that we knew nothing about, right? for most people, Guardians of the Galaxy might be their favorite thing in the MCU. Right now, what the hell? Right now, Shang-Chi is the hottest thing in Marvel. Like, Shang-Chi is the guy, right? We want to know when he's coming next. And Moon Knight could very well be that next big thing. Also, something that we haven't talked about, but we've seen it maybe a few times with MCU properties, but they're going to touch on real world things, and the personality disorder side of it is what I'm talking about specifically.
Sure.
Something that a lot of people go through on a daily basis of dealing with something like that, whether it's on a lower scale or a very severe scale. It's going to open the world and maybe their eyes a little bit more to something like this that's happening. Obviously not the ancient Egyptian side of it all, and like that stuff, the magical side of it, if you will. But it just, I really appreciate when a project, especially when it comes to comic books, takes a character that we know, that we're excited about, that can be really huge, and flips it on its head and talks about something that's in the real world. And I know I talk about it all the time, but that's what Captain America: The Winter Soldier did so well with politics, right?
Yeah.
And that's why that movie turned the MCU into something completely different, because it was the first of its kind to be a comic book movie that had a subgenre. This is a comic book show that has a subgenre of the psycho thriller, right? Like it's going to play with these ideas of something that we've never seen before around a comic book character, and having these personalities. And I have a feeling that the directors and the creators are going to have like, they're going to do certain like cut shots and zoom ins and stuff that kind of play with you to play to that personality side of it all, because he's going to be flipping things in and out in a heartbeat, right? We see that one shot in the trailer where he's in the truck and he's holding a gun, and all of a sudden he like doesn't recognize that he's holding the gun.
Yeah, that's crazy.
He's two people in a split second. And you have to be able to, and I think this is what Split did very, very well with M. Night, is that each character that James McAvoy was playing had like a different camera angle or vibe to the shot. And I think that's what this show's really going to do, is when we see those personalities of Oscar Isaac playing him, it's going to be like, okay, maybe this shot's a little bit lower, or this shot's from the side, or maybe he just has the slightly deeper voice on this one. It's like these minor tweaks that when you know that happens, his personality has shifted. And
dude, he's going to have
seen that
several
before.
different accents too, I think.
Oh yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And Brian, I know Brian's in the chat, and Brian, I know it's hard in comic books, but do the personalities come with like different backgrounds, or are they all kind of based in his area, kind of like Split was, where maybe one just has a higher pitched voice compared to the other or something like that? So yeah, I mean,
did you guys notice that he has to like chain himself to his bed at night? Like,
yeah,
that he has to lock himself to his own bed,
Yeah.
so he doesn't get up in the middle of the night and leave, which is crazy.
But we know what happens. Something's gonna happen to where either he forgets or the chain breaks.
Or one of his personas could probably just get out of it easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously going to be crazy. I think this is like, obviously there's a lot of actors that can play this role, but something for Oscar Isaac is really, really good. Like, because the guy has layers as an actor, and he's not just playing a throwaway comic book character, right? Like, I know that Apocalypse isn't a throwaway character, but like, he's a major character, but
it just didn't work out. Yeah,
that was a throwaway role for him.
Mhm.
This is something that like he can really sink his teeth into and make his own, while also paying homage to what came before him with Moon Knight in the comic books. And I've already seen online, like, there's certain things of, I know that the character in the comics was Jewish, but Oscar Isaac isn't Jewish, and like certain things are tweaked. But you have to remember that not everything translates from the page perfectly to it will on screen, right? It's going to be a little different here and there, and Oscar Isaac is going to give everything that he has to the role, and the role will give it back to him.
Yeah, and did Apocalypse die? He did, right?
Yes.
I'm sure he died.
Phoenix.
Phoenix smashed
That's right,
him. Yeah.
at the end. Yeah,
So, like,
that's how much I forgot about that movie.
He cared. I heard Oscar Isaac was like gave his all in that role. Like, whatever direction he was given, he he cared about that role, but he knew it was a one and done. This can continue, which is really exciting. And like, he's one of the best actors working today. So I'm so stoked that he gets to be this role. And it's cool that I'm sure most movie stars or most actors are like, hey, if I'm going to star in an MCU movie, I want to star in a film. Like, I want to make my first debut in a movie. But this Oscar Isaac doesn't care. He's like, hell yeah, I'll do this Disney Plus show. So I love that.
Well, yeah, I mean, you look at the reception of other Marvel shows, you got Elizabeth Olsen, hot actress in Hollywood, got a lot of juicy roles. She's killing it. You got Anthony Mackie, Sebastian Stan. You got
Doc.
Yeah, Tom Hiddleston and so on and so forth. Like, yeah, everybody would love a movie and whatnot, but I think even they realize that the whole thing, Hollywood has shifted. Definitely we're more streaming now because you can do more. You can have more freedom. You can dive deeper into the character. Well, we're going to talk about that pretty soon with Peacemaker. And I think for a character like Moon Knight, it definitely fits better, at least introduction wise, on Disney Plus, where you can have 6 45-minute episodes or 50-minute episodes or whatnot to really take your time that you wouldn't have on the big screen.
This character needs the backstory, right?
No,
He's not a character that you can't just throw into a Civil War, right? Like something with Black Panther. Like, clearly we want to know the backstory of Black Panther, but you could throw him into Civil War because he could fit, and like, okay, that dude is king. Moon Knight, you don't know who he is. Gio, you're right. You have to, like, it was the best decision to put him on a screen, a small screen. And as much as Oscar Isaac is like, yeah, I want a good role, Marvel threw him something that isn't just a comic book character. Like, sure, the dude puts on a suit and he fights up bad guys and werewolves and like which, by the way, I'm flipping stoked for werewolves and mummies and like all
somebody said they saw like a werewolf in the trailer, but you can't really tell.
It's the one that he's punching.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
which
crazy.
that side of it, like, I'm flipping stoked to see some werewolves and mummies and everything. But like, when you go to an actor like Oscar Isaac, right? Like, the dude has had some incredible roles. And you're Marvel, he's going in thinking, oh, they want to pitch me a new character to possibly join the Avengers, the MCU, probably an 8-movie contract, etc. They drop on the table a 4-personality character with personality disorder, a 6-episode, 8-episode, whatever series, and we're really diving into who this character is. There's no way he's going to say no. Like, that's a role. If it didn't say Marvel over it and it didn't come from a comic book, that's a role that gets you an Emmy, right? And it very well could get you an Emmy, even if it is MCU. But you don't see this in MCU or comic book stuff. You don't. You don't see, like,
did WandaVision get Emmy nominations?
Yes, it did.
Yeah. So this could definitely get some Emmy nominations for sure.
Agreed. Yeah. And this is a big thing too, because this is the first show on Disney Plus for the MCU that is coming from an unknown character, right? We had Wanda and Vision in the first one. We had Falcon and Bucky in the second one. We had Loki, and then we had Hawkeye.
Oh, that's a good point. They're all characters that all appear in movies.
This is really going to be a good test to see how the audience translates to the small screen, being that Moon Knight is really a completely unknown character to the mass audience in the Marvel fan base.
Yeah. Do you guys think Moon Knight, this character Moon Knight, played by Oscar Isaacs, has the potential to like move up the ranks in the MCU and be like somebody that we're gonna see a lot of?
I don't know if we'll see him in like Avengers stuff. I have a feeling they're putting something together on the small screen that I will absolutely blow my top off about.
Yeah, some of the more like supernatural characters.
I swear to God, no. I swear to God, if I see Daredevil and Moon Knight together, I'm gonna lose my shit.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
I'm gonna lose my shit.
Yeah, I mean, I think he does. Obviously, he fits in well with like the Blade and those
Moon Knight, Punisher, Daredevil, even something like Ghost Rider. Like, give it to me now.
And Blade.
And Blade, give it to me
Yes.
now.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think there's going to be like this segment of Marvel in movies and TV where it's more focused on those type of characters.
Well, and I don't know if you guys know this, but Brian brought it up. There's a group called Midnight Suns in the comic books. That's Ghost Rider, Blade. It's all those
Yeah.
supernatural characters. It's like their own version of the Avengers. Like even Doctor Strange, I think, has dealt with that as well. They could very well be putting together a version of the Midnight Suns where you have Moon Knight, you have Blade, you have maybe even Daredevil's thrown in the mix. Like maybe that's like, you know how Netflix did the Defenders? Like what if that's like Disney Plus's version of the Defenders where it's Midnight Suns?
Yeah, that would be awesome. Like I think they could definitely do that. I think they definitely could do that. And I do want to say really quick, RIP to Gasper Ulil. That was tragic that he passed away. Like period, that he passed away. That's tragic. But especially like right on the cusp of this show coming out, his career, at least like for United States, was gonna like, or North America, he was gonna blow up because I heard he was big in France already.
He was like an A-list actor over there.
Yeah, exactly. So he was about to blow up, and that's so unfortunate that he passed away. So yeah, RIP.
Wear a helmet while you're skiing, everybody.
Absolutely, yeah.
I don't even know how to ski. So.
All right, any final thoughts on Moon Knight, gentlemen, before we move on?
When does it release?
March 30th.
Oh, that's right around the corner.
26 days after Batman, somebody said. I want to say whatever shade of white that is on the suit, it just looks so like attractive.
I can't wait to see like it looks, mummy guts and werewolf blood and everything
all on the suit.
Oh,
like
it's gonna be awesome.
The shade of white that it is just looks so good. It makes you feel
the
good.
fact that he's fighting like those type of characters gets me so stoked because I love like the Brendan Fraser Mummy is like one of my favorite guilty pleasure movies of like all time. And that
Still
type of
one
stuff,
of our best watch-alongs too.
It is our best watch-along. I don't know why it has that many views, but it does. We don't get enough of that stuff. Like we don't get enough of the history side of things, especially in that culture. And I'm a history buff. Like this stuff gets me juiced, but when you wrap the MCU around it, like sign me the F up.
Oh yeah.
So all right, gentlemen, let's go ahead and move on to the next one on the list. We're going to move from Marvel. We're going to get over to DC, and one of their first original HBO Max series is kicking some ass right now. We have 4 episodes in on Peacemaker. The James Gunn created, developed, written, and directed for the first 3 episodes. I mean, the last couple. Series over there starring John Cena as the character of Peacemaker, as well as a couple others from the Suicide Squad film. We're just going to have an open discussion about what we think about this show so far. There's 4 episodes. A lot has happened. Like, a lot has happened so far in 4 episodes. And there's 4 more to go. We will definitely be recapping the season at the end after the next 4. I can't say this. Mr. Sean Wingblade wants to join after the last 8 or the last 4 of them. So he'll be with us on the season end spoiler discussion.
I'm down.
But Gio, since you're the DC guy on the panel here, I want you to start us off here. Maybe bring up something specific to talk about. Thoughts on Peacemaker?
I mean, I'm going to start with the reactions because there was a lot of DC fans who were not very excited about Peacemaker. I mean, there are so many characters in DC Comics that you could do a show on, do a movie on. And you choose John Cena's Peacemaker, but Warner Brothers has complete faith in James Gunn, and it looks like they got it right because Peacemaker is an absolute hit. I am surprised by how much I'm enjoying this show. And I thought I would, honestly, because I enjoyed the Suicide Squad. And if you didn't enjoy that movie, you will at the very least find this entertaining. But if you didn't, this probably isn't for you. It's definitely James Gunn humor in there. Raunchy, vulgar.
It's like the ultimate James Gunn humor.
Inappropriate.
Yeah, no boundaries.
Woo! Yeah. And it's a role that was perfectly made for John Cena.
Yeah.
Given his limited range as an actor, it's surprisingly deep, thought-provoking, touches heavy on the tear and wear of childhood abuse and growing up with, just abusive parents, father in this case, played by Robert Patrick.
Such a great addition.
Oh,
Brilliant.
I love that his role isn't just a throwaway role either.
Right. And last thing I'll say in the opening. Wow.
So, okay, yeah, like the opening is ridiculous. I got to bring this up before I forget about it, but I died
Yeah.
when he said this.
That's hilarious.
Died. Like that goes to the writing of James Gunn, like how like just in tune he is, right? And in playing to the character. Yeah, the opening credits are fantastic. I will say this though. I wish it was only for the first episode. I wish it was kind of a special thing that was only for the drop, and then it goes into just like a logo thing for the next so many. Because I'll be honest, I do skip them after the first episode.
Well, at least you can skip them right away if you don't prefer it.
Yeah,
You watch it every
I
time.
just
yeah.
and I know that it was like a big giant production, like I get it, but it would have been perfect if it was just for that one episode, like a nice celebration, and then boom, like.
So the first time I saw it, I was like, what the hell is going on? And then but the second time I saw it, I was like, this is hilarious. So I actually had the opposite effect. Like the first time I was like, this is weird. And then each episode I started to like it more and more. So I actually watch it all the way through.
My favorite part is when Eagly goes full eagle and just puts his
that's
wings
hilarious.
out,
Yeah.
But no, Gio, you're right. It's not just a slapstick comedy show, right? Around the comic book character. He definitely has his moments like Peacemaker. Let's be real. The dude is a moron. Like the guy is an absolute moron. But he gets stuff done. And whether or not it's in the right way, he gets things done. But he's dealing with things on his own terms, right? It's whatever we may think of the character after the Suicide Squad and what he had to do. And, look, he killed Rick Flag and
they touch on that.
In this last episode, they touched on that, which was a very surprising moment that they did that.
I think they did it in the first episode too, or one of the episodes. They
I think it was the second one
more than once.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he does things that are very outrageous, like that would never work in our world. But they're dealing with his psyche, right? He's trying to change. The overarching thing that continues to be popped up is like, is he a superhero? Is he a villain? Right. Obviously, at the end of the series, it's probably going to be one way. We'll find out officially like how he feels and how he's going to be doing things going forward. He's probably really going to be finding himself through the series like we've seen so far. But I think the show also really works because of the characters that James Gunn put around him. He put some really, really good characters around him. And my favorite, I think Harcourt is one of the best characters added to DC in so long.
She's awesome.
I know that she's James Gunn's girlfriend, Jennifer Holland, but I think the role in general is written brilliantly. And just the way that Jennifer Holland plays the character and how she bounces off of Peacemaker, I thoroughly enjoy that character. Also, side note, she's supposed to be in Black Adam. I don't know if you heard that. But apparently she also shows up in Black Adam.
Her character?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
I hope it's her character because I don't want one of these situations where it's like an actor playing two roles in the same universe.
No. So Harcourt's actually a really big DC character. She's actually a pretty important character. So she's kind of going to be bouncing around a little bit, which is really cool. And we can talk spoilers here, but I also love the fact that they tied in Amanda Waller and we actually got to see Viola Davis.
That was a surprise.
Yeah.
I was shocked, to be honest. And I didn't know. Did we, like, I'm wondering if in the comics she has a daughter and that's her name or something. But obviously it makes sense that she doesn't use the Waller name. Or maybe her father's name is Abadiah or something. But that was great. But I'll say this. It's only 4 episodes. We can't like we can't praise this show too much with 4 episodes, but
Why not?
this is one of the best comic book shows ever made. In my opinion.
Whoa!
This is one of the best comic book shows ever
Whoa!
made. Because here's the thing. Look, it's raunchy and it's violent, but like you probably wouldn't even tune in the first place if you weren't okay with those type of things, right? I mean, it's a spinoff of the Suicide Squad, but it's James Gunn. And when I watched it, I was like, Gio, remember I texted you, I was like, Peacemaker is incredible. And I didn't look at anybody else's reactions online.
How come you didn't text me?
When I watched the first, I know I should have, right?
What the hell?
But I mean, Gio's the DC guy, you know. But no, like I didn't know
rude.
Anybody else liked it that much, right? And I was watching this, and I was
love
like,
it. I think
was like,
it's
am I the only one who likes this? Like, I haven't heard anybody talk about it. And I was like, and by the end of episode 3, I was, this is fantastic. And then episode 4 happens, and they had mentioned some of these things, but when he goes home, he rips his bong, he's drinking, and he starts thinking, like they start showing flashbacks to his dad putting the knife in his hand, stabbing that guy, to his brother. I don't know if his brother had a seizure or whatever happened with his brother. And he's laying on the floor, like crying, bawling his eyes out. I'm like, oh my God, we've never seen, like, I can't remember seeing this in a superhero property. Like this, we've seen depth in superhero properties, obviously, but not this kind of depth.
This is what TV can do for them. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my, and I'm not saying like, look, to me, Daredevil season 3 is probably the best superhero comic book series of all time and season of all time. But I'm not saying it's better than Arrow season 2 or better than any season of Daredevil yet. I'm just saying like I can't remember like being this excited about a show, like, and it being so unexpected is the thing. Like I should have known because it's James Gunn. Like I should have been expected it to be great, but I just wasn't sure. But it's, oh my goodness, it's great.
Yeah, and Jake, you touched on it. Like the characters that James Gunn surround Peacemaker with. You got Harcourt. I can't remember that other guy's name. Steve Agee. Oh, what's his glasses?
Let me look up the cast list. Hold on.
I can something.
It's John Economos.
Yeah, you got him. And then we learned a lot of we kind of learned a lot about Myrn, you know, the head of the group
of the mission or whatever.
Get to know him because he actually has a pretty big role in Guardians 3.
Oh, that's right. I heard about that.
Yeah, he's in Guardians 3. So, and there's a good chance he could be playing the villain possibly. So,
all right. Do you guys think he has been a butterfly since episode 1?
Yes.
Or he just recently became a butterfly?
No, 100%. He's been one since episode 1.
Okay, I agree with you because remember that scene with him and Economos? I don't know how to pronounce his name, but remember that scene where they're like, he's like doing something on a tree, and he's talking about like how he's emotionless and all this stuff, and from what I'm understanding, the butterflies are in like full control when they're inside somebody.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
It was kind of like the butterfly saying, because he was like, "You've never said you're chilly. You've never said, oh, I'm hungry." And to me now, I'm like, oh, it was the butterfly saying, no, I never said any of that.
I don't think we've ever met the real Myrn. Put it that way.
I agree. I think that makes sense. And I'm wondering can a butterfly leave somebody and they still survive? We don't know. But
yeah, isn't that what happened to the dude in the cave?
Yeah, it would make sense.
Oh,
like,
did it?
He caught it, left? Right? He caught it. Yeah. Peacemaker caught it. Remember? He didn't kill it. He put it in a jar.
Didn't he shoot the dude's face off and then it flew out of his face?
Yes, but that means that that the butterfly could probably leave the body if they wanted to. But if they have a host, they have a host.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm wondering. Like, can they leave somebody's body and like that person's still alive afterwards? But
I don't know if we'll end up seeing it happen. But
yeah,
I mean, what do you guys think about the butterfly stuff? Because I was a little bit thrown off guard just because it's bringing, when it happened, which it happened at the end of episode 3, I want to say, right?
Yeah.
I was so on board with like this weird, outrageous, grounded Peacemaker show where he's kind of offing people, and then it goes like full sci-fi with like aliens and stuff. Did it kind of catch you guys off guard? Because it kind of caught me off guard a little bit.
Not really. I mean, mind you, he was in a movie where it was a giant starfish, and so same.
Well, by the way, Project Starfish, Project Butterfly, fantastic stuff. Fantastic.
Like they don't even try to hide it. It's just directly what it is.
Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, for a split second, I was like, "What is that? Oh, it's a butterfly," and then I was like, "Oh, a butterfly. Okay." So, it gelled well with me.
I think I agree with you, Jake. At first, it's like, whoa, because you think it's gonna be all like hand-to-hand combat, guns, swords, whatever, knives, and then it's like all about the main plot is about these aliens infesting these bodies or whatever. And at first it caught me off guard, but I'm like, okay, think about this takes place in the DCEU, and if you consider the context of that, it makes sense. But I think we're gonna learn something bigger about them.
I think so too.
And you remember is it Judo Master?
Yeah.
The character.
Yeah.
So remember, before he gets shot, he's like, "You don't understand. The butterflies." Boom, he gets shot. And by the way, I don't think he's dead, and that's bullshit that he's not dead because he got shot. Does he have superpowers?
I think he's dead.
No, because they show Economos. He has him up. He has when he's on the couch, they have him like hooked up to like a monitor and stuff. Still, I'm pretty sure.
I thought that was before. I thought that was before he.
No, they get him back in there.
Oh,
and I'm like, because I thought he was dead when he smashed him on the head, and then he's still alive. I like that character a lot, but you can't just keep fake deathing somebody like in the same series over and over again.
I thought I felt. Oh, I guess I.
But anyways, when he says like you don't understand the butterflies, and then he gets shot, obviously I think there's something bigger going on, which could be good, could be bad, but we'll see.
Yeah. So who knows where it goes next? This thing can get crazy real fast. One character we haven't talked about, Vigilante.
Yeah, dude, this guy is the definition of psychotic.
Yeah,
definition.
My God, I mean, just him at the table in prison, and just like I don't quite remember what he said, but what he called them, tiki torch carrying.
He says a lot.
Wow. And then proceeds to whoop their ass.
Where did this guy come from? Freddie Stroma. Like
he's been in some stuff. It's funny. Someone I saw it on social media the other day of what else he was in. Hold on, let me click his name. Because there was another movie he was in that like people were freaking out about. Oh, he played a character in Harry Potter. Like a big character in Harry Potter.
Okay. So I liked the character, and then another great moment in the show when Peacemaker can't take the shot on the kids, and then when Vigilante steps in, he's like, "Hey, buddy, step aside," and he takes care of it. I was like, "This character's awesome." Like he has Peacemaker's back. He's willing to do what Peacemaker won't do. He's a little crazy and insane because he gets purposefully arrested. And like, what if he just stayed in jail forever? Like he's just gonna, screw it. He tries to kill the White Dragon or whatever. And so, yeah, but that prison scene was awesome. He like at first I was like, this is interesting, but then he grew on me a lot.
That whole conversation he has with Peacemaker about like, did you really feel bad that I got my toe cut off and whatnot? He's like, yeah, I did.
By the way, I think it was episode 3 when Judo Master captures Peacemaker and he has Peacemaker tied up, and before Vigilante shows up, their conversation back and forth, I could not stop laughing. Like the way that the lines were delivered, I can't handle it, man.
Cheetos or something.
Yes. Like I couldn't handle it. It was so good. But Vigilante, as far as a character goes, so far has been great. I will stand by the fact that I think he's the most psychotic and messed up person we've ever met in a DCU movie. The dude does not care. When he's shooting the kids and stuff, he goes, he's like humming to himself. I'm like, dude, like we're literally blowing kids' heads off right now. Like, come on. But then in episode 4, also that scene with Harcourt in the car before he goes into jail, right? It kind of like just kind of revealing himself a little bit. I'm interested where the character goes now that we ended up seeing where he is in episode 4. But I think he's a great addition. He obviously fits in with Peacemaker very well. Their relationship is pretty funny. It's a pretty funny relationship.
Yeah, it is. And I love that he's a super goofy guy, right? Like you totally don't believe that he can do what he does. And then that jail scene, because seeing him do it in the suit is one thing, but like seeing him like not in his suit, seeing his face, and he just whoops those dudes' ass, no problem whatsoever. I'm like, okay, this dude's a badass. And part of me, like, do you guys want to know how he became who he is, or do you just want to leave it a mystery? Because it's like, we know Peacemaker, his dad trained him since he was a kid, right? But I'm curious, Vigilante Adrian Chase, who was a character on Arrow, if you remember, Jake.
He sure was. Very
Vigilante,
different version of the character.
Like, how did this guy become a trained fighter badass? Like, what? I'm just curious.
I don't know. I mean, I guess just the name of him is enough for me to be like, okay, I don't really need to see it. Like, he trained himself. He took a long time doing it. He's like a super fan, and he just became really good at it and became good at killing like the wrong side of it, right?
And he could be doing this for like 15 years for all we know.
Well, he only looks 15, so I got it 15 years.
Well, let's say at oldest, maybe he's 30. So maybe he's been doing it for 10 years.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, he's a great addition. I think he was a great addition to have alongside Peacemaker, and he fits in really well. I love when he first pops up, like he's falling around, he's behind the dumpster. He's like, "Oh, hey guys." You know, he just like says like the most funny things in the situations. But it makes sense to have him part of the team, right? You're not gonna, if this is such like a Black Ops style thing that's going on between them, you're not going to call in someone like Deadshot or any of those characters. You're going to get someone like Vigilante who is expendable just as much.
Mern is the one who was like, all right, he's on the team now. We can't afford him like spilling the beans. And now we know that Mern is a butterfly. So it's probably, he doesn't want this guy going around talking about what's going on.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that.
Man, dude. HBO Max, look, say what you will, compare them to Disney Plus, whatever, blah, blah, blah. They're doing good with DC content, you know, between this and Peacemaker, the Harley Quinn show, season 3, Doom Patrol, which I haven't seen yet, season 3. I haven't watched that yet. They're doing good stuff. And they got Batgirl, Blue Beetle coming out.
Yeah, and I think James Gunn is going to do more for DC.
Oh, yeah.
He already said he has a new another DC show that he's going to be working on.
Oh, nice. Yeah, no, for sure. And I like, it's a mixture of DC and James Gunn, right? Like he gets so a lot of this has to do with James Gunn, and I just can't wait. Like now I'm like, oh, I can't wait for the next episode to come out. Like Thursday morning, right? Yeah. I'm popping it on as soon as I can.
We got Boba Fett on Wednesday, Peacemaker on Thursday.
It's a nice like middle of the week to look forward to. It is for sure.
Niners on Sunday. We're doing good.
Okay, before we move on to that, any final thoughts on Peacemaker, fellas, before we head into our final part of the show?
Well, I want to say, so remember when Abadiah was talking to Amanda Waller and she says, you're the only one who knows the real mission. Do you guys have any guesses on what that is or no?
I mean,
I guess I haven't given it much thought. Yeah, I mean, that's tough.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Is a real mission to kill Peacemaker at the end? Who knows? You know,
that would be interesting.
Maybe it's to kill them all because of what they did to her. Because remember, both
that's true.
Both Harcourt and I'm just gonna call him John because I don't want to pronounce his last name.
Yeah,
both
we can call him John from now on.
They both essentially knocked her out at the end of the Suicide Squad, right?
Exactly,
and I know that they said at the beginning of the one that like Amanda Waller is screwing them in this crappy job because of what they did, but there could be another kind of motive there.
Yeah,
I will
maybe she
also
wants
say
revenge.
we've never seen an Amanda Waller that's ever been surprised and hasn't known everything. What if she knows Mern's a butterfly? Like,
That's
what if
true.
she's trying to hide something that involves the butterflies? Like, what if the butterflies are actually like something that's necessary or good or something, and that's coming from Amanda Waller, and then it's going to turn Peacemaker and Harcourt and John and Judo Master and Vigilante, all of them, to maybe go after Amanda Waller or something like that.
That's a good. I could see. I never even thought about that, but I could see some type of twist where like it's like the butterflies, they're aliens. They came here to like study Earth to see whether or not they want to attack us or something, and it's actually for a good reason. I could see something like that.
Well, remember, there was a moment, and I think at the end of episode 3, where it showed a digital map, and there were butterflies all over the world.
No, that was the end of episode 4. That was the last
four.
one. Yeah, that was the last one. That was the final shot
Forgot
of this last
about
episode.
that.
All
Damn.
over the world.
There's hella
That's what I'm saying.
butterflies.
Like, well, there's obviously something else going on because there's no way they're going to be able to kill them all. Like,
yeah,
there's no way.
That's a good point.
So there's definitely something else going on. Before we wrap up, the one thing I did want to mention is we haven't talked about Peacemaker's dad and being the White Dragon.
Yeah.
And maybe what that's going to have in the show, if it's going to be anything at all, if it's going to be like, is his White Dragon time over? Because obviously he was a big bad supervillain at one point. We saw the suit. He has an interdimensional cave that's really cool.
Interdimensional room is awesome.
It's pretty cool the way it works.
And the Peacemaker helmets are awesome.
He took them all. He took them all too. Do we think that he's gonna be back in like any capacity as the White Dragon, or if he's gonna stay in jail? Like, what is up with this character?
I don't see him staying in jail much longer. Especially given the information that he has on the case and whatnot. I think at some point all hell is gonna break loose and the show is gonna get really crazy. And but as far as him putting on the White Dragon suit, I don't see that. I think that was fan service and whatnot. I don't see his character going that way, me personally. So
do you think Peacemaker could recruit him?
No, I actually do see it go. I think the dad's a straight. Like, look, I think he secretly does love his son. Like, even though he's a dick to him. But I think in a way, I think his dad is going to be Peacemaker's true villain of this series. Not the whole team's villain, but I think White Dragon is going to be Peacemaker's main villain when this series is done. And he's going to have to confront his dad, whether it's in the suits fighting or whatever, face to face. I think it's going to come to that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, any final thoughts before we move on, gentlemen? Good?
Nope.
Good, man.
Can't wait for the next one.
Don't miss the post-credit scene on each episode. I like that. That's pretty cool.
Oh, it's kind of like a deleted scene, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like each episode. Yeah. It's cool.
All right. Well, the final thing that we're going to do tonight, everybody, is we're going to go through the 2022 MCU Disney Plus series shows. And each of us have been given the task of just picking one to be excited about. I know that we can be excited for them all, and that's fair. I get that. But for tonight, you are allowed to just talk about one, essentially. And the ones that are officially confirmed to come out in 2022 are Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, and What If Season 2. There have been rumblings that Secret Invasion could possibly show up this year. But with a number of movies and shows already slated, you're probably going to be able to see that in the beginning of 2023. Because there is no official release date, we're leaving that one out for now. So there are those 4 shows: Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, and What If Season 2. Does someone want to talk first? And what show do they want to talk about?
You can go ahead, Gio.
It's between Moon Knight and She-Hulk, honestly. It's tough because I don't know that much about each character. I'll go She-Hulk just because I've already talked about Moon Knight. I believe She-Hulk was teased in No Way Home. Spoilers. When Murdoch says, you're gonna need a good lawyer or something like that. I wouldn't be surprised if Happy
To
Hogan
Happy,
shows up.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, if he shows up in She-Hulk, but a courtroom drama, She-Hulk, Bruce Banner,
Oh yeah.
Matt
Emil
Murdock.
Blonsky.
Jacob, I was gonna say that. Damn it, son of a beast.
He was
name.
listing names. How can I not list the name?
Come on.
Oh man, I don't know. Like, we'll see about this. I mean, everyone would obviously love another Hulk movie or more Hulk, but She-Hulk on Disney Plus, for me, this one, I got a good feeling about this one. We've only seen a very little bit at the Disney
We've seen like
Plus
10 seconds of it. Yeah.
and we got a logo, an official logo, or title card. I'm sorry, title card. She-Hulk.
It's a logo. You're fine.
It's a logo.
If you're fine.
Yeah.
I'll agree with you, man. This show, since they dropped that slate of shows, has been one of the ones I've been looking forward to the most. Not just because we do have Bruce Banner coming in and kind of mentoring a little bit, but Tatiana Maslany as She-Hulk herself is a brilliant choice. Talking about someone who can play multiple personalities, she played multiple personalities on Orphan Black, and. Yeah, Jacob mentioned it. This is where we're going to see Matt Murdock next. Like, you have Daredevil in it, you have my blessing. Like, just give it to me now. So I can't wait to see it. If he suits up, and the rumors are that he's going to be suiting up in his classic red and yellow suit, I'm going to lose my freaking crap.
Whoa.
I'm going to lose it. But yeah, Gio also said it. Courtroom drama in the MCU. We talked about Moon Knight being a psycho thriller, right? And playing off of those tropes. This is going to be that inside the courtroom, dealing with the case, and the key here. And obviously, Jennifer Walters, we don't know what stage she's at now, but she only defends superheroes. Keep that in mind. There are a lot of characters that could possibly pop up. Like, we know someone like Jessica Jones gets into a lot of crap. What if she defends Kristen Ritter's Jessica Jones? It's very, very cool. And I love the play that they had in that teaser, and the little Easter egg at the end where they were in the 70s clothing, and that lab photo where Bruce Banner is helping her out and stuff. It leaves me very excited. I'm excited for them all, but She-Hulk definitely gets me the most excited right now, I'd say.
Yeah, man, it's tough. I'm actually really excited for What If Season 2. I loved What If Season 1 so much, and I can't wait for that. But even though I'm a little bit worried about Captain Marvel 2, I'm going to go with Miss Marvel, because I'm a huge Captain Marvel fan, and I like Captain Marvel. I don't love it. Is it 2019 version?
Mm-hmm.
Right? 2019.
2019.
I thought they did a really good job, but I thought it could have been better. And I'm worried about Captain Marvel 2 because, unfortunately, I've seen Candyman, directed by Nia DaCosta, and I did not like Candyman that much, to be honest. I thought it was okay. It was a little bit disappointing. I thought it was going to be way better. So I'm hoping that Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, because I played the Avengers video game, at least like the first hour of it. And that's where I learned the most about her character. So I'm excited to see how they're going to portray her, in live action. And I'm hoping that this series will get me more on board for Captain Marvel 2, because I want the movie to be about Carol Danvers and about Captain Marvel. And it looks like they're going to heavily focus on Kamala Khan and who's the character from WandaVision again?
Oh my God.
We know it. We just can't think of it on the tip of our tongue.
Monica Rambeau.
Yeah, Monica Rambeau.
Thank you.
And
I was going to her superhero name, Proton. That's why.
Yeah, but she's in Captain Marvel, obviously, as a little girl. It looks like it's gonna be about them three, which is cool. But I still want it to be a Carol Danvers story.
Yep.
So I'm hoping this series sets me up to be more excited about Captain Marvel 2. But I'm actually really excited for this series on its own to see what they do, because if I'm not mistaken, isn't this the youngest character we're getting in the
Yes.
MCU ever? Like
Yes.
is she even in high school? She's
No.
super young. So
She's not supposed to. She's supposed to be like 13, 14 years old.
yeah, so that's going to be interesting how they do it. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah, that it leaves me. I'm very interested. That's the best word I can say about Miss Marvel is it's very interesting on what the route is going and how it's going to bleed into the Marvels. I agree with Jacob. The Marvels is what it's called. First of all,
Terrible title.
don't like the title.
Terrible.
It just it leaves me very very weary, if you will.
Well, it's like a team movie instead of a Captain Marvel movie.
Well, I will say, and look, so it was said that they're going to be in it. We don't know anything other that they're just going to be in it. So it could very well still be a very heavily focused Carol Danvers film, which it should be, because Carol Danvers has the opportunity to be a centerpiece of the MCU. And if you don't give her a proper sequel, I will be pissed. Anyway,
agreed.
Before we wrap up, I did want to bring up a couple comments here. Gordon said it would be cool if they brought back Carrie Ann Moss as Jerry Hogarth. She runs a firm. She runs a firm. I think she's a lot more likely to show up than something like Jessica Jones, just because she does run a law firm.
Yeah, that would make sense.
And then another question from Gordon: do you think they're going to have her transform into She-Hulk, or will she always be transformed? I think the former. She'll definitely be Tatiana Maslany and She-Hulk.
Oh, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, we got to see.
She'll go back and forth.
Well, I know in the comics, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not like huge on the She-Hulk comics, but I'm pretty sure in the comics she's always She-Hulk.
That's what I've heard. That for the most part, she does her court cases as She-Hulk and all that.
And so I think that for the time being, until and also keep in mind, we don't know this, but people may not know that she's actually She-Hulk right now. Like there might be a moment where she actually reveals herself, and then from there on out, that's something that we do see. So,
yeah. And if you think about it, in the comics, they don't have an actress playing the character, so
it's just it's a drawing.
Yeah, you want to highlight the actress playing her as well as She-Hulk the character. So I think we'll get a good mix of both.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. All right, everybody, that's going to wrap up tonight's Apocaflix. Now, thank you so much for hanging out with us. All of you have been watching. Andy, Gordon, I see Nussbaum in there. Curtis, Star Drew, Samir, Wingblade, Brian for popping in a little while as well. To everybody who's watching, thank you so much. RD Films popped in a little bit. It was fun. Talk some TV. We don't get a chance to do that too much on this show, but there's a lot of it coming, so you'll see a lot more of it in the coming times, especially if we get too overwhelmed on something like the Mandalorian Club or Marvel Rewind. You might see some split time here as well. But it's fun to talk things like Moon Knight and Peacemaker and all that stuff that we don't get to talk about too much. So, but before we head out, we're gonna go ahead and do some plugs for our little shows on the outskirts. Gio, I'll let you kick it off, man. Where can everybody find you online?
Of course, on here, Thursday's Mandalorian Club. I enjoy that quite a bit. Even if you're not a Star Wars fanatic or expert or diehard, I mean, come check out the show. Okay, I kind of represent all of you out there. I'm with two Star Wars experts, gurus who fill me in, and it makes for a really fun conversation. That's on Thursdays. And Fandom United coming back in February. January's been taken off, and there's a lot of DC stuff to talk about. A lot of stuff to get into. I'll save it for February. So,
Jacob.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at JacobBarley824, but also I have a YouTube channel with Keith Barnes called Bartley and Barnes, and I'm happy to announce that we scheduled our next episode.
Finally!
Which is going to be on January 31st. It's going to be our January episode, but it's going to be mainly catching up with Keith, talking to him about what's going on with everything, but also talking to him about all the movie discussions that he missed. We're going to talk No Way Home. We're going to talk The Matrix. I know that stuff's old news to most people, but I haven't talked to Keith about any of it. So we're going to, we'll talk Peacemaker too. We'll have a blast. So January 31st, check out Bartley and Barnes.
At Qui-Gon Jake on Twitter, 2 N's, because someone else took it before I did. A certain point of view on the weekly. If you are into movie trivia or the movie trivia showdown, go ahead and check out that show. We are an after show that covers that. All of you in the chat who are putting the rumor train in there, wrong show. Come on, guys. I also do a little show called the Whiskey Jedi. I got an episode coming out this week. If you saw some certain castings that happened last week, I'm breaking it all down. With Mary Elizabeth Winstead and Ahsoka alongside a whiskey that was given to me by someone in the chat, actually. Star Ward Australian whiskey. I'll be trying it for the very first time.
Nice.
Super excited to break down some Ahsoka stuff with my girl, Mary Elizabeth Winstead. You can check that out later this week. But yeah, we are here twice a week. We have Apocaflix now on Tuesdays. We have Mandalorian Club on Thursdays, as well as reactions, as well as movie watching challenge, and a lot of other stuff going on here. So thank you guys so much for watching. We greatly appreciate it. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week. I'll catch you guys next time.